Hello there! Now before we begin, I just want to say that I'm sorry for being late with the review, but as I had to wait for it to release, and then actually play the game, well, it took a while. Now remember the openings in Saints Row 3?
Shoot the window and land the plane. Fuck was I thinking?
Saints Row 4?
The warhead's disabled, but it's still moving, boss. Boss, you're right over the...
Epic over-the-top action scenes, right? Plenty of jokes to go around, and with some game and movie tie-ins as well. Now let's take a look at Saints Row.
You sure you're at the right party?
This is a celebration for the Saints, is it not?
Antonio! Glad you came to your senses. Hey, I'm kind of having a party right now, but we'll talk business later. We've got a party going on, so I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Fuck the Panteras. Fuck the Idols. Fuck Marshall. The Saints are here to stay, baby. So, if you know how to shoot a gun, or if you're broke and want to learn how, swing by the church. We'll be waiting for you.
Hey, God!
Why?
Okay. So, is the new Saints Row a good game? Is it a great game? Let's dive in and see. The good. Some scenes do look beautiful. For example, in the Observe and Report mission, there is a beautiful sunset scene while you chase after some criminals. There is also a nice character creator, which was to be expected in a Saints Row game, to be honest. The city also looks nice, better than Stillwater, but it's just sad that it's wasted on this game. The vehicle customization system is also very good, but we've also seen the same system in Saints Row 3 and 4. The voice acting was quite serviceable, and I have to say I did like the voice actors for the boss. Every voice had its own personality. Well, almost every. And that's it for the good. Which really makes me sad because I wanted the game to be good. But as you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, it's probably not as good as we expected. Now for the bad, the gunplay is just plainly bad. I looked it up in the dictionary and I could find no other word that would be put to better use than bad. Aiming can be all over the place and aim assist doesn't assist. It does the opposite actually. Then again, the gunplay in Saints Row games never felt impactful, but I would have expected there to be some improvement after 9 years. I've seen sponges soak up less liquid than these enemies soaked up damage. Cars all handle similarly, like bricks. And speaking of driving around, there will be a lot of the time in the game when you will just be sitting there and driving from point A to point B. The fast travel system cannot be used while you're in a mission, meaning that after you start the mission, you cannot fast travel to the location of the mission. Most of the missions are at your base, and if you're somewhere else, you need to abort the mission first, and then you can fast travel to the church, and then you can start the mission without having to go all the way back to the church, which was simply annoying. The story seemed very dull, aside from certain parts towards the end where the story had me kinda hooked. I barely made it through the game. I wanted to quit more than I want to be happy. If someone offered me a choice to play this game for an hour and be happy forever, or not to play the game at all and be miserable, I'd have to give it a good, hard think. That's how boring it gets at some points. After completing a mission, you're spawned outside or on top of your car. Or sometimes there is no car at all. The police chases use more rubber banding than all the people on the planet when trying to tie their hair. I'd smash an enemy vehicle into a wall only to see it respawn behind me on the minimap. That's a really outdated technique to hide what the game lacks technically. It still has better chases than Cyberpunk, although I actually had fun in Cyberpunk, despite its own set of problems. Now as for the ugly, there is a wide array of bugs, with NPCs and cars no longer spawning, textures loading in the distance, etc. For example, I was driving around town and suddenly I realized that I was the only one on the street. And not just the only driver on the street, I was the only person on the street. Or anywhere, in fact. You could still hear ambulance sirens going off in the distance, but those were just pre-recorded effects, not coming from actual vehicles. Getting close to you, but there was nobody anywhere to be found. For a second there, I thought I was Kevin McAllister from Home Alone when he thought his wish to be Home Alone came true. A reload of the save fixed this problem. While doing a quest with an NPC, I didn't have to worry about them getting into a car, as they could all use instant transmission and pop right into a seat. There was stuttering at certain points, although it was not consistent. NPCs jiggling about for no reason whatsoever was yet another issue. The whole game made a huge breakthrough in physics, you won't believe. A small stone is enough to tip your car and set it flying through the air. Some cars explode simply when you sneeze at them. Yet, once I had a bug where I needed to destroy police vans and the van that needed destroying just went full invincible. I guess there are cheat codes in the game after all, just not for you. When you shoot enemies in the head, they do a backflip, because as we all know, that's what happens when a high velocity projectile goes through your skull. Another time, I got out of my car, immediately fell through the floor and started skydiving into the abyss the game must have crawled out of. After some time falling into a dark void, which is what playing the game feels like, I was respawned some distance away where I was supposed to be. Honestly, if it weren't for the bugs, the game would have been far less entertaining. It's like a trash horror movie. Fortunately for the game, I happen to like watching trash horror movies. Thanks to the bugs, the game is so bad that it sometimes feels good. Considering what the Saints Row franchise was, this is truly a sad review for me. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that sadly the game is what I thought it would be when I saw the trailer, but even worse. Even if there were no bugs, it would still be 5 steps back in the wrong direction. I loved Saints Row 3, and despite its reuse of the same city, I loved Saints Row 4 even more. I loved the goofiness of the games and the absurdity of the story. I also love the references to popular sci-fi movies. It's just a shame that this title lacks the same soul that was present in its predecessors. It struggles with its identity as well. It tries to be more grounded in reality, and at the same time you have guns that change status effects on reload and some futuristic weaponry. It has absurd outfits, yet the main story tries to take itself far more seriously than the previous games did. Because nothing's as serious as doing a mission in which your friend gets shot and you have to protect them, all the while dressed like a hot dog. Now, I didn't and still don't expect for Saints Row to be a rival for the GTA series, because for me they're still different games. I liked Saints Row because it always brought its own spin on the open world criminal genre, but there were no improvements made to the game since the last entry in 2013. It feels like a prequel to Saints Row 3, a bad one at that. I am very sad to say that this game is, at best, a 5,000 out of 10. It's amazingly poorly done. Now Volition, I know you guys can do far better. I've seen it, so please do so. And that concludes this review. But what did you guys think? Did you like the game? Did you hate the game? Did you laugh at it most of the time like I did? Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe if you can. If you liked the video, like. If you didn't like, still like. And I'll see you in the next one, Enlightened Ones.